In terms of what we do on the fraud side, that's different is, and actually everything we do, it's all on the impression level. So in the case of fraud, we'll look to see if an impression is fraudulent, and if that particular impression is fraudulent, and I mean by that it is a non-human looking at that ad or programmed to bring up that particular site with that ad on it, we'll record it and we'll block it if they ask us to, meaning the ad will never get served to that. So it's very precise. It's like using a laser for surgery rather than a butcher knife. So the importance is the granularity. The second thing in terms of programmatic is ideally you don't even buy the ad in the first place. And the beauty of programmatic is you can look at every impression separately and make a decision at the time the person comes to the ad or the ad placement opportunity comes up. You can make a split-second decision on whether to buy it or not or how much to pay for it. So what we do is we work with all kinds of people in the industry buying impressions through programmatic and give them as much information as we can at that time to make a bidding or pricing decision. One feed of that is fraud. We can look at a impression and based on various things, whether it's a bot or not, or based on the history of that ad and what the likelihood of it being fraudulent, we can give information to the programmatic buyer at that time. Fraud and viewability are really closely linked. And the reason for that is because the people who create the bots, who imitate users, realize that now advertisers are focused on finding ads that are in view. So what the bots do is they purposely scroll an ad into view and make sure that it's in view for a while, or in the case of video, they'll either sit through the whole pre-roll video, or in some cases they'll actually hit play and watch the video. So what they're doing is they're smart enough to try to back into the metrics that advertisers are using. So if you use a viewability solution and you're not focused on also taking out the non-human ads that are viewed versus the human, you'll optimize around getting more fraud. So that's really important. Now in terms of pricing, what's really important, or what's really interesting is what we're seeing in the marketplace is, particularly in programmatic, ads that are in view aren't necessarily any more expensive than ads that are not in view. And there's a few reasons for this. The main reason is that advertisers, for the most part in programmatic, are focused on audience targeting. They're targeting a browser or a cookie on a browser that has some data on it that's attractive to the advertiser. Maybe the person's been to your website before, maybe the person's in market for travel and they were at a travel search site or something like that. There's some information that makes them useful to you. As an advertiser, for the most part, your typical advertiser in programmatic is bidding the same no matter what site they're on. They're bidding the same for that user. What we know from our statistics is that in a lot of cases that ad or that money to buy that person with that ad is absolutely wasted. That's because there's fraud, that's because a large percentage of the ads are never seen. And even the ads that are seen, certain times are seen for a lot longer and have a much better chance of impacting the user. So what we do is we work with programmatic buyers to give them data about an impression before they have a chance to buy it. And one of the areas is viewability. We know based on the history of seeing that ad, the next time that it's in view, what the likelihood that it's going to be seen. And that's something that can supplement an audience purchase and really help someone calibrate how much they should pay on every impression and ultimately get a lot more for their money. Again, getting back to the fact that non-viewable ads are priced about the same as viewable ads tells us that there's a huge arbitrage opportunity for anyone who's using this data in the short term. Eventually, perfect market conditions and everyone's using this data will make the price of viewable ads a lot higher, but for now there's a big opportunity. Viewability is one thing. The reality is viewability is a symptom of other problems. Whether an ad's seen or not is like a starting point. The ad has to be seen, but after that, the length of time it's seen, how many other ads are seen at the same time, what other factors about a page makes it quality versus not quality are really important. So we've been working on a concept over the last couple of years with market data and honing it. It's called we call it the True Advertising Quality Score, TRAQ score. It's a holistic measurement of media quality. And it's something that we're seeing as being really important in terms of whether an ad works or not. And again, it's more than just, was it seen for that half second? That is, or half the ad for a second, that's the current benchmark of whether the ad was seen or not, but actually looks at a lot of other qualities of that media that may or may not lead to better results. And that's something in programmatic now you can buy based on. So even if you're audience targeting, you can supplement that decision with, oh, by the way, this has a high quality score, this has a lower quality score. And ultimately, we're already seeing sophisticated advertisers using that data to just take advantage of the way that data is being priced in the market, or inventory is being priced in the marketplace.